Hello, amazing science fiction students, and welcome to week 2. That's right. That's right. Welcome to week 2. This is the week when we are going to begin reading Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. So let's take a look at where Brave New World fits into the history of science. Don't click pause. If you try to absorb this incredible graphic that sums up the history of science fiction on a single screen, I think your head will pop. So there's just too much. All we're looking at is a little dot kind of in the middle of this graphic, and that's where this graphic positions Brave New World. Now, Brave New World was published in 1932, and it envisions the civilization of 2540 in our calendar. Obviously, some of the work that we'll be doing as we read this book is to decide whether or not Aldous Huxley may have chosen a date that was too far in the future, and which features of that civilization are at work in our own culture today. I love this book. I think it offers us an amazing picture. It's honestly, right now is the best time to read it because it's such a mirror of our own culture. And to connect the work that we're doing this week with what we did last week, I'll remind everyone with this graphic that we talked about artificial intelligence. Now, I just went to one of those famous artificial intelligence painting programs. This one is openai.com, and I typed in the words Brave New World, and immediately the graphic that it returns within 30 seconds, and it returned 4, so we'll take a look at these graphics, absolutely dead on to the book in a lot of ways, this particular graphic, and dead on to our culture as well. This graphic was created by the OpenAI bot brain in about 30 seconds as well. Actually, all 4 were created in less than 30 seconds. And this one seems to be connecting the 1930s. Look at the shoes, and there are these sort of tumbling Victorian-style buildings in the background there. And then below those buildings, the earth appears curving, which seems to be, for me at least, a reference to the intercontinental travel that the book depicts when our protagonists go to New Mexico. Yes, New Mexico. And a preserved section. Huxley really wants to create a tension between sort of what I think he envisions as a more alive, a more authentic human being rather than these anesthetized creatures that he's writing about. And in the spirit of dismantling systems of oppression, and remember that Aldous Huxley was raised in an incredibly racist society, literally an empire, even at the time of the writing of this, though that empire was on its decline. So you will see Huxley's racism coming through as he discusses the, savages. He uses the word savages on the reservation. And I think that all of that kind of language is also worth commenting on in the document that we're going to be annotating together. Many of our conversations in the first week in the forums while we were discussing about artificial intelligence's impact on our lives turned toward the kinds of jobs that people would have moving forward in a world with very sophisticated artificial intelligence. And this third graphic that we're taking a peek at is yet another example of actually that could be a cover for this book moving forward. So I would say that people who are banking on making book covers moving forward in our new world, these AI may not do it as well as human beings, but they seem to be doing it as well. I've actually employed graphics from that artificial AI program already in my own teaching. They're fascinating. Now, this particular graphic, what features of the book Brave New World might it be picking up? There's phallic buildings. These buildings are incredibly phallic, and there are sexual themes in the novel Brave New World that would sort of make this as a book cover for Brave New World, would make this harmonize with the content. I know that a few of you have already read Brave New World. I implore you, as part of our class, to go through it at a deeper level this time. Take that deep dive and really get in there. And this is the fourth and last cover from the artificial intelligence program that I just put the words Brave New World into. Now, interestingly, this cover, it's fascinating. I can see ways that it relates to the book, but what I see more is how it relates to the title, which comes from William Shakespeare's play The Tempest, from Act 5, Scene 1. And the lines that it come from go like this: "Oh, wonder how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world that has such people in it." And we have in this image, obviously, well, in some sense, a very godlike creature, which is the theme in the book as human beings playing God. You know, literally replacing the way that human beings have been traditionally made and emerged into the world. That's a kind of level of godlike playing. How will human beings interweave those kinds of technological advances, and will we survive? It seems to be talking about that. It also, well, I don't know, you could really study this for a while to pick out more, but what I also see in here is kind of Prospero's magic from that play, The Tempest. A previous Chris, time traveling in another dimension in the past, had some encouraging words to say about why we read great literature. You want to know what can do it? You want to know what can make literature move you? Is trying. That's what it is. It's trying hard. It's not, putting it on in the background and washing dishes. It's concentrating and trying, and all of that is prefaced to this wild assignment that I have for us, where we are going to make an annotated version of Brave New World, and everybody's going to be listening and reading at the same time, and then you'll be pausing and you'll be annotating in the document. And so all of those instructions are there. So that starts on Monday. This video is going to be up there above Monday, and then the next link should be to our online version that we're all going to be annotating in there as a Google document. And I hope that you guys will really, and then there's incredible audio that I am sharing with you so that you can read and listen to this guy, because the first 30 pages of that can be difficult. It's very modernist writing. And what this does is it, puts us inside the heads of multiple different people. It's very difficult to kind of follow. Just that first 30 to 50 pages can be kind of tough. And Huxley, and this isn't a lecture, I want you to run into this. I want to be able to ask you, why does Huxley break everything up so much there at the beginning? Because it's a confusing world. And there I lectured. I give you stuff. I don't want to give you anything. I want you to discover it. And that's why you are going to be the people annotating. You have to pause and think and do a little bit of research in our Brave New World. Thinking. Reading is thinking. And that's what this class is about. It's about getting deeper. Now, what the other Chris didn't realize is that during this term, we'd be seeing some previous students' comments in there. We'd be annotating their annotations. We'd be able to respond to them. So I want everybody to know that as you go through, double check people. Facts is facts, folks. And so if somebody has written in there, a previous student has written something in there that you disagree with, get in there and let's get in conversation. Now, obviously, those past students are onto their degrees and their engineering, and they're building buildings now and figuring out ways to sell pharmaceuticals to us. That's a joke about Brave New World. But so they're not going to be replying. But do be in conversation with them. And they also, by the way, they skipped. They skipped the harder, meatier moments that you could do some research about. And I just want to remind everybody that every time you annotate the document, what you've done is you've researched, found a fact out, found something that you can cite. Now, our citation is simply going to be a link to where you found it, which is cool. And I think it'll be all very self-explanatory when you see the document. I wanted to share, now that I haven't scared anybody, I probably did, but I'm trying not to. I wanted to share with you this way that I opened up this class before in the past, but you're not going to see this document, but I searched for it because I remember, like, what did I do that was so weird the last time I opened this up? But I had cut out all of these little slogans, and I stood outside. And also in the classroom, I had removed all the chairs. I literally moved them into a different room. It's late. I'm tired. I took all of the chairs out, moved them into a different room, and I stood at the front door of the classroom, and I went, "Welcome." Welcome. Everything was about introducing Brave New World, but I wrote, "Welcome to the final exam. This is the first day of class." And I began to hand everybody a slip of paper. And on each slip, there was like a different slogan. I'm looking at them right now. "Welcome to the metamorphosing. Everyone is happy." No, anyway, I got everybody in the room. Everybody was like standing. They couldn't, like nobody could get, like, where are the chairs? And I wouldn't answer. Like, that's what I want to do here, but there's so much room for misunderstanding. That's why you got to use a phone if you misunderstand, because this book is examining the very structure of our lives. David Foster Wallace. I can't remember his name, but he has this incredible line in a graduation speech where one older, wiser fish is floating towards two other fish, and the older, wiser fish says, "How's the water, boys?" And the two fish are swimming right by him. And as they get out of earshot in this fantasy metaphor thing he's doing, one looks at these two younger fish, and one says, "What's water?" And that moment, what's water? Water is the system that we all live in. It is the ubiquitous features of our culture and society that we don't even notice, like chairs in a classroom. Like, we're so preconditioned. This book is about conditioning, and I think reading it should be an experience in examining how we are being conditioned right now, and giving us this permission to ask questions about our programming. We are right now being programmed, and thank you so much for those of you that said, like, "No, you didn't sound paranoid. I'm with it. I'm down with it." There was one person who does not agree with any of that. So just to say, and that's cool. It's just an opinion that I happen to have. But, we all have cultural biases, and those cultural biases that we have, they might be seen as programming. In fact, you guys are looking at my home. This is like the corner that I'm in now. But honestly, and it's, weird. It looks like I live in, like, I don't know what, in a barn or something. There's like a barn piece of furniture, and I love the flute, and so I have those. It's bigger, and then I don't know why that's there. But to be honest, I want to live in a home where everything is dangling from hooks on every ceiling. And I want to see everything, and I don't see any reason why not to, but I'm married, and my wife has, taste and aesthetic qualities. so I don't put hooks everywhere and just dangle every wild thing. Like, everything, like weird things. Like in my brain, every time I walk into a room, I see just every wonderful thing dangling. And I don't know why, but I don't even know if you get that, but the fact that I cannot do that, and I couldn't do it with, it's not just my wife, it's like not socially acceptable to just have colorful items dangling everywhere. That's what I want. I just want colorful items dangling everywhere. It's not culturally acceptable. And that's my programming, or that's programming. I may be working against my programming sometimes very forcefully. But on this one day, I opened up this class and handed these things, and people were saying, no one is judgmental. And then the next person might say, everyone is judgmental. And we all got into it. Everyone belongs to everyone else. These are lines directly from the book that you're about to read. And I'm reading to you from this experience that I gave. It was almost theater. I did theater the very first day of this science fiction class. When it was face-to-face. Because it should be. Say science fiction is the greatest theater. I mean, I teach Shakespeare, so I shouldn't say that. It's the second greatest theater. Welcome to the transformation. It's all theater. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about theater? Holy smokes, our country just had like the wildest piece of theater too. So science fiction allows us opportunities to view our own culture from different perspectives. I'm going to go back to our Moodle. Oh, no, I'm not. Let me take one more peek over here. I am not going to lecture on the book, but I did make some notes for everybody. And some questions to keep in mind as we read. What does it mean to be free? There are moments in the book that talk about arresting the effect of my impulses. What does that mean? And, bear in mind, reading this book, we have to parse out the cultural biases of Aldous Huxley, his own, the cast that he was a part of. He was part of a pretty high cast. And that's one of the reasons why he can write with such authority on this caste system, because he was at the top of his own caste. So I want us to be examining our culture through the lens of Brave New World, and then examining Brave New World, the novel, through our lens of examining Aldous Huxley, who is, of course, a product of his time. And you'll see when the book shifts setting to the reservation, it's very difficult not to see sort of Victorian racism kind of coming out. And now he wants to deal with classism and racism in the book. He's got the betas, and it's like, I'll never talk to a delta. They smell. That's not a direct quote, but I'm happy to be a beta. Alphas have to work so hard. Just watch these and think about, like, wait a second, who are the alphas in our world? Who are the betas? Who are the deltas and the epsilons and the gammas? And the gammas? It's a big deal. This is a big deal, and if we do it right, we have like almost a psychic high colonic. We can really get rid, we can see, and we can start asking ourselves, well, what's it mean to be a person? So I hope I'm not lecturing too much. I'm really trying not to, because I think nothing kills the experience of literature more than some fat-headed weirdo who thinks that they know everything, and I don't. I want to learn from you. That's why you guys are the annotators in chief of our document. Oh man. Watch out for this incredible image of a dead dog, and then multiple images of dead dogs. It's really something else. We already sort of hinted at, this notion that science fiction brings up, a line by Arthur C. Clarke, that any technology advanced enough is going to appear like magic. That is actually also a feature embedded in this book. You'll see it. You'll run into it. These are questions that we'll work on next week. The Friday set of questions don't even have these. I just, because they're too deep. You can't get them until you get to the end. But We're also going to be kind of looking at how the idea of shame, becomes in some sense a glue for society. And of course, the book, you can't read the book, even you, as in somebody who hasn't ever read the book. It's immediately obvious that the book is about societal stability and the nature of the individual and the control of the state. And since I'm lecturing, so I'm going to quit. So that's it. I just want you to get in there, and I want you to love it and be engaged and to be somewhere and to just start weeping and just feel the pain. Okay. All right. There's something else for us to talk about. I know that. This is the actual book. It's the text. It's all the text. And then it's also assignment guidelines for how to annotate the text. So hopefully everybody has had experience sort of highlighting a word in the document and then clicking the blue plus sign that says add comment, because that's what you're going to do here. So you'll be reading. I also have this incredible audio version narrated by an actor from the 70s and 80s, and I don't know when he was most active there, super famous during the generation when I was an impressionable idiot. And his name was, I think, Michael York, and brilliant actor. And there are dozens of characters in this book, and this one dude is like doing them all. And I'm not saying that Brave New World is as rich and complicated as Shakespeare, but I think that there's going to be a few people here that really appreciate that, and then there's going to be some, I'm a really good reader and I don't need to listen to it. Well, just open it up and listen, would you please? Because I think that there's something that can add to anybody's experience, regardless of how. Hey, you gotta meet my son? He just walked by. Say hi to my science fiction class. No, he doesn't. See, I knew that.
Hi!
Oh, he did. Hey, how are you doing?
This is the second time he's done this.
I know. It is. I just do. He's walking by, but I only do it in my cash class, and that's you guys, because I feel like we should just bond. I feel like you should know me, okay? Because learning happens, in the presence of connection with other students, and that's what you're going to get from this annotated version, and connection with your instructor, and that's just me. And let me take a look. So you got that audio version. Check that out. Annotate this very document according to your contract. And the contract things are outlined up there. And again, trying to balance, students that have told me, like, I need to scoot on through. Let's do it. So, it's all that. People are going to go deeper and da-da-da. Instructions on how to annotate. So I have written these instructions. I won't read them. I gave an example of something that we might annotate, though, when I was reading the book, and I thought, here's the orgy porgy Ford and fun, kiss the girls and made them one, boys at one and girls at peace, orgy porgy gives release. And of course that's a reference to, when I was a kid, we still had these Victorian, childhood rhymes, kindergarten rhymes. It was Georgie porgy puddin' pie, kiss the girls and made them cry. I don't remember the rest of it, but it's so funny. It's so funny that is. So anyway, I just sent that because you guys would just maybe, you know what, somebody do comment on your Friday comment or something, or actually just send me a little comment inside there, no, I'd never heard Georgie porgy puddin' pie, kiss the girls and made them cry. I'm gonna click my link to the thing so I can share with you the rest. Oh, kiss it. When the girls came out to play, Georgie porgy ran away. So that was it. I don't know. I never understood it as a kid, but it was part of the water. That particular little poem was part of the water, and it's a good example of the kind of thing that I think that we're going to want to learn more about. The instructions here talk about that, according to your contract, you're going to find moments and blocks of, whether they're blocks of 10 pages or blocks of 15 pages, and you're going to try to leave one comment, in your particular block of pages to research a little bit about, or at least to make a connection. If you see something, you're like, holy smokes, that reminds me of some product I've never heard of. Something, like vaping. Like I'm not a vapor, but some of you are vapors, and you might find moments in here where people are using psychopharmaceuticals or drugs or whatever to change. There's a lot of mood altering in this book. The book is like almost entirely mood altering. In some ways, it doesn't even seem like fiction anymore, the way we alter our moods, the variety of things. But your experience of the world, and not during the quarantine, but I mean, like, when it was normal world. Maybe during the quarantine. I don't know. Anyway, I do hope that my instructions here are clear. And again, always just, text me or call or something like that, or email. Let's see, there was one more thing I wanted to show everybody, and then we're done. So open Monday. Yeah. So then there's this so this is due on Wednesday. It's a little bit in addition. And I realize this is a bit of work. So it's probably going to take, I don't know, if the audio book is like 8+ hours, then listening to half of it this week is going to be 4 hours. Plus you're also going to listen to, I think that this is a pretty long, it's an interview with Aldous Huxley, and it is remarkable. It's remarkable, and I've just got a few questions here about it, just, again, to kind of motivate you to experience that. It's a remarkable interview of the person, and he's being interviewed a couple decades after he wrote it. Not to fall into that mode of lecture, but just some interesting facts about the book. Many people don't know. It was a surprise to me that George Orwell was actually one of Aldous Huxley's students. And in 1936, Aldous Huxley writes Brave New World, and as many of you know, George Orwell ends up just like, sort of 20 years later, around that, 1948, writing 1984, which is another dystopia. And really, they're very, very similar, except in the ways that the government controls the people. And you're about to find out how the government controls the people in Brave New World. Aldous Huxley's version of that control was, sort of a much more familiar kind of totalitarian control, and one that I think that as people from the West, or people from England or America, we used to read that book and think, my God, those Soviets, that's how they control. No, I mean, is it? Or was it only the Soviet population that was being controlled? So really, it's about liberty and how much liberty we have. And anyway, just to get back to our assignment, so you'll do that, and then heading back to that main, and then there's the Friday question. So you will have had to have read the first 100 pages, and that's it. Oh my gosh, 25 minutes. It's a little bit longer than I wanted. But I got to hang out with you guys for a second, and I hope that most of this was useful. Some of it I hope was amusing, and all of it was good. That is my hope, and probably those are high hopes. But you know what? We got to go with what we got. And I'm so glad that you guys are here at school, and let me help you as you persist and have a great term. So I will see you in the forums.